Welcome to another edition of Fast Break with head coach Tommy Lloyd. The Wildcats are on the road this week as they take on the Purdue Boilermakers in Indianapolis on Saturday afternoon. Before that, Coach, congratulations. Big win over Wisconsin, 2 top 25 teams going at it. And I don't know if there's such thing as a perfect game or a complete game, but your team shot the ball well, defended well, rebounded well, assisted well. When you went back and looked at it, was it as satisfying as it felt after it was over?
Yeah, it was a great effort by our guys and a great job by our coaching staff. And, I'm really proud of both. But, you don't get to sleep very good at night when you got Purdue coming up the next week. So we were, it was a great challenge by Wisconsin. We passed that test and, now we're on to, I guess, bigger. I don't want to say better things, but definitely bigger things. So we got our hands full this week.
All right, speaking of bigger, Umar Ballo had his best game of the season. What went into that and what were you most pleased with?
Well, Umar's a really good player, and what's funny is he's, had a drastic improvement over the last couple of seasons. And, so I think expectations continue to rise. He hasn't started off the season already by any stretch, maybe just hasn't had a notable game like he did, 2 years ago in Maui, where he kind of broke out a little bit. So I'm really happy with where O's at. And, I know he's excited about the challenge ahead of him this week.
And that challenge is Zach Edey, who is arguably the best player in America. We can call him that right now. But is there, first of all, I want to ask you about his strengths other than just his size.
Well, he's a really good basketball player. He's got great hands. He has a really good understanding of how to use his body and take advantage of his size. And, there's no doubt in my mind he's the most impactful player in college basketball, today. And, you gotta dedicate a lot of resources, to try to figure out how to stop or contain him. And, and then they have a great coach and Matt Painter who, puts them in a lot of great positions, and they have really good players around him. So it's an incredible challenge, and, we're honored to have the opportunity.
One of Zach Edey's strengths is the ability to get to the free throw line. So how do your guys defend without fouling?
Well, that's, the big question. It's really hard to do. He's a guy that, with his size and strength, he's able to kind of walk himself into really good positions. And, and obviously you have to be physical to not let him get to those positions. So, then therein, the referees become involved in the game, and he does get fouled a lot. So we've got to do a good job just playing aggressive and physical basketball, which is, how we normally play. And, we'll just have to get a feel for it when we're out on the court. It's one of those things that'll probably be, hard to prepare for because you don't just have a 7'4", first team All-American sitting around that you can practice against every day. So, I'm excited to see how it goes.
You alluded to it. Zach Edey's very good, but Purdue's a very good team. So they do things. One guy doesn't necessarily win a game. What else makes Purdue so good?
Well, they have great complementary pieces. They have a nice point guard, in the Smith kid. And like I said, and Matt Painter's one of the best coaches in the country. So he puts them in a lot of really interesting, positions, with spacing and movement that forces you to make some hard decisions. And it's one of those things you dedicate a lot of resources to Edey. They can make a bunch of threes. You don't. Zach Edey could score 40 points and foul your whole team out. So, there's definitely is a conundrum, and, we'll do our best to give ourselves multiple options to try to figure it out.
Braden Smith scored 27 in their win over Alabama, so we know how good he is. Your team has had 6 different players lead the team in scoring so far this season through 8 games. Talk about the balance you have right now.
Well, that's why I like working with you. I learn something all the time. I didn't know that. We're a team. We feel like we got a lot of weapons, and we feel like our strengths and our numbers and our depth. And, we really don't call on any one certain guy to shoulder the burden. And in any given night, and just kind of how the game breaks and how the ball moves, someone can step up and be that leading scorer. So, that's the way I like to play, and we're built like that this year. So, I'm enjoying watching it play out.
All right. Cats and Boilermakers Saturday in Indy. Tip off at 2:30.